Hey, dude, we're live right now. I hope you realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, come on.
What's up?
We'll just ignore that. Anyway, thank you, guys. Yeah, welcome to today's video. We're gonna talk about Pokemon stuff today, right, Alex?
Yeah, dude. Don't remind me. I was just, a little behind today. I was getting my looks maxing in, bone smashing, all that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was appropriate. That's fair, I guess. I mean, now that it's out in the air there, people should kind of have a conversation about the importance of bone smashing, right? And to kind of show my solidarity, I decided not to wear a hat today. I mean, it
Yeah.
just feels appropriate. Like, I'm not trying to get mogged, right? So we got to make sure that we're taking care of what matters most.
Oh, dude, we're gonna mog on to death. And honestly, it actually is a good mental training because while you're doing the bone smashing, when packs are falling to MSRP, you have to really concentrate on not just smashing your head in because you're just being absolutely just destroyed by this market going crashing. And so we're crash maxing, we're looks maxing, we're just all the maxings.
Now, in all seriousness, with prices crashing for, perfect order, it's become, it seems like, probably harder for most streamers to sell their loose packs. Have you started to turn to the strategy of jester maxing to draw in more potential clients?
I'm doing all the maxings. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Cool.
dude, pretty much we're gonna start a new channel. It's gonna be called Nomics Plus Max.
Okay.
And we're just gonna have the all pluses and maxes and just mog them.
Now, is this going to be a feature that we're also going to add to our private Discord server, or how should we handle this?
Man, it's pretty valuable. Like the money that they're paying there really doesn't account for all of the extra services. So, I mean, unless you want to run some kind of upcharge, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if you had to put a dollar amount, how much do you think would be an appropriate upcharge?
A dollar amount?
I mean, the people want it, man.
US dollar is really kind of worthless at this point. I think if you wanted to put an amount, it would have to be a Pokemon amount. So 2.5 Charizards worth.
But let me ask you this. This is the most important question here. Do you think 2.5 Charizards are enough, considering that the first wave reprints are probably going to crash the value of them?
Well, I mean, we're already in pretty bad shape after the Q1 reprints.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, the second wave reprints, I mean, it's going to be pretty detrimental.
See, these are the things you kind of got to think about, man. Like,
I dump it all. Dan's dumping it all. I mean, you guys saw Catch 'em All Collectibles new video. He's dumping.
Yeah, I think it's the only thing you guys can do at this point. But all right, guys, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Really appreciate the channel. As always, Alex, if you want to see his content, link is down in the description below. Alex, are you ready for today?
What do you mean? We're already going. We started. We're here.
You think that was a bit?
I'm not joking.
You think that was a bit?
You think that was? You really do think that was a bit? This is my life.
Oh God, dude.
You know, screw you. I don't care what people think of me. I'm doing the other side.
That's fair. That's appropriate.
No, man. It's look, it's not all jokes. Let's be real. Perfect Order's lagging every other set that's been released in the past year and a half.
Dude, it's well, it's interesting because it's not doing bad in my shop, but I mean, you want to kind of talk about your experience or some other experiences you've heard from other people?
Yeah, so the booster boxes, I think people have kind of collectively come to the conclusion that until we see booster box reprints, we're all under the impression they're just not going to do major booster box reprints. And so the booster boxes are holding up extremely well, like the 210 a box still on TCG Player, and they're moving like high sales volume. And so people are still pretty aggressively buying and holding boxes. But when it comes to the actual single packs, when it comes to streams, I've talked to, at least 4 or 5 people now that stream. No one's doing very well with the set. Very slow moving. Anyone running auctions, whether they're on eBay, Fanatics, TikTok, whatever it may be, whatnot. The auctions are going low on the packs. Very slow moving. Ascended Heroes is basically outselling Perfect Order on a lot of people's streams already, even a week after, or really a few days after the official release, but about a week after most people got their products. My stream Perfect Order was very slow. We sold a little over 2 cases worth on Monday, a little under 2 cases on Tuesday. And by Wednesday, we had already oversold it pack wise by Ascended Heroes. And I don't mean dollar wise. I mean, we sold more Ascended Heroes packs on Wednesday than we did Perfect Order packs. And Ascended Heroes is quite a bit more expensive. And so, yeah, man, it's definitely going to be a slow one. I mean, and for good reason, right? The biggest hits in the set are like $200. Like, what are you going to do chasing a $200 card? It's just not as big of a chase as, chasing an $1,100 Gengar.
Dude, that just is such a wild statement, because if we said that same exact thing like during the bear market about there being a $200 chase, then that set would probably be one of the best performing sets in the Scarlet Violet era. So it's just crazy to think how the market has kind of shifted so drastically with big hit cards.
Yeah, and it's unclear like what this means, right? Like, I don't know if anyone else is. I don't see a slowdown anywhere. Like, sales in general are not slowing down. Our streams, our digital rip streams, YouTube views seem to be solid. And then the rest of the sets in the market are all solid. Like 151 spiked. It's not really having that spike anymore, but it's holding up at the new price point. We're seeing a lot of the early and middle era Scarlet Violet boxes start to move. Ascended Heroes continues to move up. Prismatic Evolutions had a pretty sizable restock, reprint, whatever you want to call it. And it dropped down in like the low 170s and it's already running back up very quickly. Sales volume is through the roof. And so it's like everything seems strong. It's just like, I don't think it's like indicative of the overall market. I think it's just this one set. People just don't like it.
I mean, literally since we talked about it on last stream, Ascended Heroes has gone up like another $10 or $15. So it just keeps going up. I mean, I said it before on last stream, and I'll say it again. I still think it's a good buy. I think that it's just one of those sets where if you say to yourself, you think it's going to be one that is even in the conversation of like, okay, what's better, Prismatic or Ascended? And I know it's not as cut and dry as many people may think. Odds are then that's probably going to give you at least enough confidence to assume that it'll probably follow something similar to what Ascended does, or what Prismatic does. Not saying it does the exact same thing. It could do better. It could do worse. But 200 doesn't seem like that far from reality if we don't get any more supply.
Well, and I got to give a shout out to the I'm Gonna Wait crew. Like the I'm Gonna Wait crowd, dude, they actually were not lying. They were waiting and I'm serious. And they took advantage. Like, dude, if you look at the sales volume on Prismatic ETBs, and they're always in like 3-day periods, like, whatever. I mean, you're talking about like 48, 66, 27, 32 volume, like, right? Dude, 287 volume in March 28th through March 30th. So, dude, people saw that drop down in the 170s, and the I'm Gonna Wait crew said, I'm jumping in. I waited long enough. This is an opportunity. It just dropped, 20% or whatever it is from its highs. I'm jumping in. And they did it. So, like, hats off to the I'm Gonna Wait crowd. They waited, they got a better price, and they took action. So, good for them.
Yeah, round numbers just seem to be the just stand the test of time kind of test at the moment when it comes to looking at like, okay, how much psychological support do we think that this is going to keep the price of this product at? Because realistically speaking, I mean, we talked about this with Perfect Order. $200 is something we were like, it's probably going to hold $200, and then depending upon how soon the second wave comes, we'll see obviously if it goes below that or not. And it went down to like 205, and now it's back at lowest listed 210. So it seems to be still holding strong and doing exactly kind of what we thought it was going to do. It's gone up $5 from its low, so it's not like a crazy amount, right? But still, you obviously are thinking, okay, well, you would at least hope it would stay around 205 or maybe even test 200. But it's just, and
the chart doesn't do it justice. Like the release day, it did drop at like 190.
Oh, did it really? There were some 190 sales.
There was like 191, 192, 193 at the very low.
Oh, I'm looking right now. Yeah, there's a couple of $200 sales. I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, it happened so quick in like a day's time. So the TCG player chart didn't even pick it up because it jumped back so quickly that the average sales data for the day, I think, was still above 200.
Yeah.
So it's just again, I think we said it before. I think people have an unrealistic expectation when it comes to price drops. They've created this unrealistic reprint idea in their head, this unrealistic restock idea, this unrealistic, Sam's Club, Walmart, Target, Costco drop idea, where they've created this world where if they drop a product or they reprint a product, then it's going all the way down to MSRP.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't, they like come up with reasons why, like something's wrong. They didn't print enough. People are, the botters are getting all, the investors are taking it all. It's like, dude, Prismatic Evolutions boxes, they just dropped 20%. That is a major drop. Like, but people just write it off as like, well, it should have went much lower. It should have got cut in half. Cut in half? How's it going to get cut in half? We've like, the product's been out for over a year. We're not getting anywhere near the drops we used to get when it was released. I mean, everyone has already seen where 151 Paldean Fates went. Everyone kind of knows what's going to happen. You're not going to see those kind of drops in this market. And I think people are just a little unrealistic, but the clav in the thumbnail, dude, we had to throw clav in the thumbnail, man, because that is how it feels in this market, is that you're just beating your face with a hammer daily. So glad you enjoyed, man. GameStop is letting you order as many prismatic as you want at 150. I mean, here's the thing with GameStop. I don't really take much what GameStop does to heart. They've had so many sales and then like cancellations, and then like, that they won't restrict it and they do restrict it. And it's just like, it's hard to tell what that even means with GameStop. But here's the thing, guys. None of it matters, right? I'm to the point now where I don't even like talking about it. It's so monotonous to me, because today the set's prismatic. Tomorrow it'll be ascended. Tomorrow, the next day it'll be some other set. Every year it's going to be another set. It's the same rhetoric. It still gets views somehow. I don't know how people are just like, I think it's because new people are always jumping in the hobby. So it keeps getting new views from the new viewers. But it's just like, it's the same conversation. Oh my gosh, we got to get scared, guys. Reprint, restock. Oh my gosh, what do you think? What do I think? I think in a year from now, none of this matters. And it's going to be double the price. And everyone who didn't buy is going to be upset. And they're going to say, oh, it's all manipulated. Everyone's holding their closets. No one's buying it. Meanwhile, there's sales volume happening every day. Well, those are all fake sales. Those are investors trading to investors. And it's like, all right. And it's just, I don't know. It's monotonous, guys. It's monotonous. I think the sooner you can get out of the like pokey sphere of the internet and get out of that hive mind, like negative mentality, constant fear, constant, reaffirming, everyone else's disbelief and like anger. I think you'll be a lot more successful in this hobby. I truly think that. So that's my kind of opinion is, I understand everyone has to be entertained. If you just like that stuff as entertainment, great. But as soon as you let all those kind of people like get into your head and get you start believing it because you listen to so much of it, because you fill your head with so much nonsense in a day, that's where you start getting behind. That's when you start missing, because you actually believe a lot of the nonsense out there. What up?
Sorry about that. I had, we have some work that's being repaired at the home, so I had to get that all addressed and taken care of.
Yeah.
So anyway, where were you last?
Nothing. We're just talking about like the nonsense, the repetitiveness of, every time there's a reprint or restock, it's always Armageddon. It's always, fearful. It's always, is it going to go lower? How long is it going to stay in this price range? And it's just like, then a year from now, it's going to be double the price. And we're all going to be like, oh, I should have bought. That was a buying opportunity.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it's always one of those things where most people don't. I mean, here's the thing that I don't understand about the psychology of how it works for people. And maybe this is just the fascinating part about how predictable human psychology is. When it comes to Bitcoin, right? It's one of these things, if Bitcoin price is correct and then you buy it and then you're like, oh man, I got such a good price. And then it drops another 30%. But with Pokemon, you kind of know what the floor is going to be. And so it's one of these things where like you should anticipate for a lot of the items that like if they hypothetically drop to like wholesale pricing, odds are they're not going to drop that much lower. So it's like, I don't understand why there's this thing where people get really nervous about when prices drop because of supply. Bitcoin's dropping because of demand. Pokemon drops because of supply. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, like obviously demand plays a factor, but supply plays such a significantly greater factor. And we've seen that time and time again. So it's like you were just saying, it's going to go up. So I don't know why psychologically people still treat it the same as you would something like Bitcoin, which does have nothing to do with supply playing a factor in why the price is correcting. And like I said, maybe it's just human psychology and how people look at it the same way.
I would say anyone that's like newer to the hobby in the last year, maybe 2 years, I think they get a pass. I think newer people get a pass because you're still just kind of getting your bearings and learning all this, and you don't know who to trust. So you're listening to all these different opinions on the internet. Anyone who's been in the hobby for 3, 4, 5+ years, I have no remorse for those people. At that point, you're just stupid. Like at that point, you've seen it happen so many freaking times, and you're still on that bandwagon of like, it's all going to be different this time. It's like, all right, man, all right, and just like, don't do it. Like you can't help those people, right? Because they've seen it with their own eyes, they've experienced it. Heck, they've probably joined in on a lot of the plays, and then the next one that comes along, they always think it's going to be different this time. Like when in life have things been different this time, right? It's like every time the S&P crashes, oh, it's going to be different. This is the real Armageddon. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned this before I had to abruptly leave. Price of booster boxes, by the way, for perfect order, they're 204.88 on eBay. So I mean, we're right on what we expected, which is the price is getting closer and closer to one another. When looking at both TCG Player and eBay pricing, because there was a disparity for those of you guys that don't remember by more than $20, and now the disparity is like $450. So if you do want it cheaper, eBay is a little bit cheaper. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think that right now, I think your sentiment does make the most sense with a lot of the new people being such a huge component of like what is driving prices, right? and what I mean by that is booster boxes. You and I have been in this hobby for a very long time, and so the idea of booster box reprints to us don't seem like something that would be unrealistic to happen at some point. But for many people that are new to the market, literally they could have joined the market within a year to a year and a half in, which is crazy to say how long it's been going for. They've never seen a booster box reprint, and so to them the idea of it is foreign. And so you've got a lot of people that are more than likely putting their stock in that specific product compared to the loose packs. And so it's definitely making sense to me if you kind of look at it from that perspective, why the booster boxes are holding as strong as they do. I guess the next question is what we think is going to happen when the second wave comes. I mean, to be fair, the first wave came, price really only dipped about like $15, and the second wave is going to be smaller. So, I mean, do we think that it's a catalyst, or do we think that it still stays above $200 because the first move, which had more supply, didn't really drop it past the point of 200, and it hasn't kind of stuck around that mark? I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts.
I think it'll mimic a lot of what we just saw. Maybe it drops under 200 for a little bit longer than like a few hours. But I think inevitably it's going to run back over 200. It's probably going to end up right around where it's at. I think like 210, 220 a box is likely where it's going to be. Because here's the thing, like $6 a pack is 216 for 36. Like that's I would think it's going to be somewhere around that 216 mark. Especially if like the worst sets right now in the hobby are like 250, like the worst performers. So it's like, I doubt it's going to be much more than like $30 or more, $30, $35 under the other worst boxes. So it's like, I don't know. I think that seems about right. I doubt it goes much under a 200 again for very long.
I know obviously pull rates always play a factor in this, but just first and foremost, have you looked at Chaos Rising?
Chaos Rising? No,
yeah.
I haven't.
We talked about this on last stream. Past that, I would at least look up the Greninja. At least look up.
I've seen the Greninja.
Okay, so you've seen at least the Greninja.
Yeah.
So just kind of first look, which set do you think is better, just first impression, Twilight or Chaos Rising?
Oh, I was gonna say it's got to be Chaos Rising, just because of the Greninja over perfect.
I would look at the rest of the set if you need to. Go to Poke Beach; it's got the leaks. Look at the rest of the set and kind of compare, because obviously that's something that's important when you're going to start looking at a lot of the IRs. It'll say Ninja Spinners, by the way. If you're looking, Ninja Spinners will be the name of the set where all the cards was leaked.
All right, let me see.
You could say Ninja Spinners Secret Rares leaked.
All right. Yeah, no, it's not Twilight.
So you think Twilight's better?
I think so. Like when I'm looking at Twilight, man, I mean the Greninja I think is better. I think having the Parrot and the Carmine in there, that Eevee illustration is a top tier illustration of the entire era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Twilight's a bit stronger.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. With that in mind, let me ask you this question. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Greninja, probably that card is going to perform well, but how do we think this set overall is going to do? I mean, Phantasmal obviously performed well, even though the fact it was just a Charizard set. Do we think Greninja has the same kind of firepower as a Charizard to where it can carry the set after the momentum drop of Perfect Order?
I never say never in this market, man. I still don't know how Twilight did what it did. Twilight came out of a down market.
Yeah.
I mean, Twilight was kind of like the precursor to what Surging Sparks led to this boom. So it's like, I mean, Twilight came after Stellar Crown, came after Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift. Like, I mean, Paldean Fates wasn't loved like it was at the time. So, I mean, Greninja did it then.
Yeah.
One thing I can say is it did kind of do the similar thing then.
Yeah, I definitely think that it is it's a toss-up, honestly. It is a toss-up in my mind. Like, I don't think nothing's ever guaranteed in this market. Like, let's be frank here. Probability is always a thing. I would say that based off of the momentum of Perfect Order, and we'll see how Wave 2 kind of looks, it's definitely showing that there is some weakness in the market or some rejection for a new set that doesn't have a ton of desirable cards. And this is going to be a real test to see how strong of a character Greninja is, because you could look at it one of two ways. Either this is going to be a crazy statement. Greninja could literally be the next Charizard, where it can carry sets in the same way like Charizard. Or it could be one of these things where Twilight was just an anomaly, and then we realize that Greninja is not what we thought it was, and that set just falls apart, and no one wants it.
Hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I mean, that'll be a huge set for us to take a look at. And of course, that set is going to come out in literally, mid-May, right? Is that when it comes out? End of May?
Yeah, May.
Yeah, Chaos Rising release date. Release date is May 22nd. Pre-release will be mid-May. Yeah, May 9th through the 17th. Wow, that's crazy. So be ready for it. Make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, everyone. If you have a question, type in all caps question. We'll try and get to more questions this stream this time around.
Are you buying anything right now to invest in specifically?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The biggest thing that I've wanted to pull the trigger on by far is Ascended, but I haven't found sealed cases, which is really what I want. I've looked on groups,
from your distro pro. Why don't you just keep some?
What do you mean? I need supply for the store. I can't just keep my inventory held back. listen, don't get me wrong. Like our shelves are not in the best of condition right now in terms of inventory, but we've had so many people come into their store and say, man, you guys have so much more product than other stores, because all
Wow.
other stores are just wiped. And that's really what's like allowing us to kind of stick around in terms of like doing pretty well as a store, is because we just are one of the few shops that actually have supply.
Dude,
So
I mean, some of our local card shops, I've never seen them wiped out like they are right now.
yeah,
We
exactly.
walked in one today, and I just walked in. The manager was standing there. I was like, I go, dude, where is everything? He's just like, this weekend wiped us out. I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, dude, normally like they were a store that would have like every box, like they would have every booster box, opened with packs, to buy, multiple other boxes in back if you wanted to buy a full box, like, most all the new set ETBs. And I'm just like, dude, I think might have like 6 booster box sets left. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, that's
This is
crazy.
getting very, very scarce. I don't think people are truly. I think when people look at TCG Player and eBay, and you can buy stuff at like $300 a box. I don't think they appreciate just how thin the market is in the physical like market for card shops and things. Like, dude, this product is just not out there.
I mean, I've said it on stream and I'll keep saying it. If anyone wants to sell, like I am more than happy to like I do want to buy, but like I'm not going to go buy TCG Player pricing. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of my thing right now.
What
So,
are you doing off of?
what am I doing off of? I mean, most of the time, like I'm just going off of whatever the secondary market is doing on like eBay, or sorry, not eBay, but like Instagram, sellers, or like Facebook marketplace groups. So typically they're usually, 10 to 20% under market if they're just selling individual items. And then, collection buying is usually right around 80%, give or take, depending upon how good the collection is, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, that's just kind of where I am with it. So, cause like I said, I want supply for the shop. So, um, that's just kind of where I am with it. But, if we see obviously if we see obviously more supply kind of open up, and prices obviously begin to correct, then you'll start to see my sentiment shift. But only Ascended is the real item that I'm looking at right now, and I'm like kind of interested in potentially buying. I just want to buy it in case quantity. Bear it back again, sorry.
All right. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I am just loading up on the popular sets for streams. I'm loading up on Ascended Heroes, Destined Rivals, Phantasmal Flames. I have a good amount of like Paldean Fates, 151, Prismatic, things like that. And because I'm just expecting those sales to keep kind of driving the market when Perfect Order is kind of going to be lackluster. So that's what I was saying. I'm just stocking up on the popular sets and letting those keep sell through.
I mean, yeah, like you don't need to overthink it right now, right? We were talking about Prismatic when Prismatic was obviously at right around $100. Could have easily gotten it for like 90 secondary market. And then when that went up and Ascended came out, it was like, all right, Ascended seems like the clear next play to kind of make, which is weird because I usually want to pick booster box sets because it's so much easier to store. And price per dollar wise, you want to obviously maximize what limited square feet you may have for investing. But it's like, there isn't a booster box that I'm looking at and I'm saying to myself, like, man, I'd really love to buy. Like, obviously the safe pick is Destined Rivals.
No, I got one.
But
dude, Surging Sparks.
Surging? Yeah, I knew you were
Surging Sparks all day. It's like the cheapest box on the market, like over the entire market other than Perfect Order.
Yeah.
Another thing, I gotta call this out, and I don't mean to like pick on anybody, but Sui, you happen to be the person that said it, so I'm just gonna reply to it. It's not an attack on you. Destin's gonna correct. All right. Destined Rivals has corrected multiple times. Let's get that. Let's get that out and open. So Destined Rivals corrected from 318 down to the low 200s, which is a 20 to 30% correction. All right. It ran up to 500 and it corrected down to under 300, which is another 25% correction. And right now it ran up to like 560s, almost 600, and it corrected back down to the low 5s, which was another 10 to 15% correction. Now it's another run, right? It's corrected multiple times. Booster bundles dropped. Those corrected. Packs have corrected. I mean, here, let's go to loose packs. Those have corrected multiple times. And so it's like, I feel like people don't ever give any like thing credit when it corrects and then recovers. Like Destined Rivals has had multiple different restocks and things. They've corrected, and then the demand is so high, it's recovered. Right. And so like, let's not lose sight of that.
I don't know if you saw their follow-up, but they said talking end of cycle.
Yeah, I mean, look, Prismatic right now. Prismatic just corrected. That's the correction. Like, there's a very real possibility it runs right back up to over $200 again. And that was the correction. And then it's going to be like 250, 300 in ETB, and people are going to say it's going to correct. And then it might drop to 250, 225. Like, these corrections, they're not going to go to the price point you think they're going to go to. So if Destined Rivals corrects right now, it may only drop to $400 if they have a massive booster box reprint. Like, because everyone knows the secret's out. Who is not going to pick up Destined Rivals into a 30% correction for a long-term investment? Everyone is. Everyone knows. I mean, I just think people are losing sight that this isn't, 2020 market or something where no one has any clue what's happening, or everyone's, in this delusion that like this stuff isn't investable. The secret's out. You're not going to see these like massive corrections down, 70% anymore, in my opinion.
I think that I think the biggest problem right now that's preventing anything like that from happening is there's too much euphoria in the market. Like, it's literally this feeling, and I'm gonna keep referencing him because he feels relevant every single week. Z&G Emporium. It's just, oh man, why would I like sell my stuff, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should have waited until my next auction because the price went up again, and oh, what's that? Another record the following week, and the following week, and the following week, and the following week. So you have this market right now where it's literally like, what's the point of selling? It's just going to go up in a week. And now that's not the same for obviously every item. It's very much in specific areas. Like Sword and Shield era, we haven't seen a price movement on those booster boxes in quite some time. But for a lot of products that people are holding in that have been moving, it's interesting because people ask the question all the time in the stream, should I sell it? Should I lateral? I don't see why you would. It makes no sense when the prices just continue to climb, and you could easily end up putting yourself in a position where you sell it or you lateral out, and then you end up, missing out on that next leg up, which I want to make it very clear. Obviously, if you're selling for the purpose of like, hitting a goal like financial freedom from retirement or debt or buying a first home or whatever financial goal you're shooting for, that's one thing. But if you're just saying I'm going to sell for the purpose of getting into another investment, it's like I just don't see it.
Yeah, we actually had that conversation in our Patreon call last night for anyone that was in that's in here. Because everyone's like worried about obviously the war over in Iran. They're worried about rising gas prices. They're worried about like, fertilizer costs going up, increasing food prices. They're worried about like, oh, the market's down. Like, I think it's down like almost 10% now from its highs.
How much is gas where you are right now?
Well, regular gas is like $3.70, $3.80. Diesel's up to over $5.
How much is regular typically for you in your area?
What's that?
How much is regular typically for you in your area?
Well, before this, like, obviously back during, Biden, it was higher like this, but like for the last, I would say year or so, it's been close to the low twos.
Yeah, no, it was, before the war, it was like, I think the lowest I saw was like 290, and then the highest was like 420. And right now it's right at 5 for regular.
Yeah. But yeah, so like people are a lot worried about this stuff. And so they're saying things like, talking about like, being safer and like, getting out of Pokemon, putting into something else. I'm like, look, if you want to hold cash, that makes sense. If you think it's safer putting it in the market, like, dude, the market's down. Bitcoin's down. Gold and silver are coming back down. It's like that stuff isn't doing well during this time. And so, but then people will say, well, yeah, but when it recovers, though, it's like, well, hold on. You don't think Pokemon's going to share in that recovery and run with all the economy and everything going up? Surely you're not telling me that, because it always has. So it's like, what really is safer? Now, if you just want to be safer and have cash, that makes sense. But to invest somewhere else because of Pokemon's not, I just don't see it. In my opinion, I just don't see it. Like having cash is one thing, putting it somewhere else doesn't make sense.
Well, and I've said this before. I mean, I the friend is your trend until the end of the trend, but also for me, I am always someone that likes to play it safe in case, God forbid, something happens on a, macroeconomic scale. And so I definitely am like having a nest egg held right now. And part and parcel because I haven't seen any major glaring, like I have to buy this. I would be literally stupid if I didn't buy this Pokemon investments. And so if one of those pops up, then obviously that changes. So until I kind of see one of those, I'm not hyperly aggressive.
Yeah.
In my investing in the same way. I might as well just keep my money off to the side and try and just protect myself in case something happens.
Trenton just said, I don't watch this channel, but did you just say the economy is going up? No.
What? He just
I literally just said things are down right now. And
Yeah, that's right.
when things recover in the future, I said Pokemon is going to likely continue to run with the economy when the economy recovers. No, things are not good. I just said the market's down like 10%. I just said gold and silver are dropping. I said Bitcoin's half the price. What?
Weird. Is there anything you kind of want to discuss before we start taking questions?
Oh, just like the investing thing we were talking about. I'm doing the same thing, dude. Like I'm not like actively targeting anything right now, like for big purchases. But like if people are reaching out to me with Prismatic or Ascended Heroes and they're trying to sell like way under market, or like someone reaches out to me with certain investments, like I'm taking them. Like,
How often does
like,
that happen though?
It happens more than you think. Okay, like with Blooming Waters, I just picked up a large purchase of Blooming Waters boxes. Like not too long ago, I picked up a large purchase of Prismatic, bundles. Like,
how can people reach out to you about this kind of stuff?
Nostalgianomics@gmail.com or on Instagram or on Discord at Nostalgianomics. Usually it's people who want to get rid of everything all at once, whereas a lot of people can't take it all, right? They're going to reach out and say, I have 20 cases of Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. I need someone to take it all. And I'm like, well, I can take it all, but it's going to be at the right price. And then we come to a percentage, come to terms. And a lot of times they're more likely to work on it with you because you're taking it all. And so I'm just waiting for deals like that to come along. I'm not really.
What was the last time you got a deal like that? Other than the blooming?
Prismatic bundles. It was like a 500 bundle purchase. Maybe, I don't know, a few months ago now. 3 to 5 months ago, maybe.
So it's not like crazy often then.
No, I get reached out to, I could say relatively often, but like, again, I'm wanting a deal. So the amount of times we're able to come to terms on a deal is probably less often.
Yeah. No,
like I'm buying little collections all the time, like, 5, 10, 20 grand worth. But like large scale, like big giant purchases like that, it's less often.
Yeah.
No, and like, I'm not, so like Dan Catch 'em All Collectible, shout out Dan, I know he watches these. A lot of the collections I send his way. I give him Dan's contact. I send his way because like I'm so busy these days with all the streams I do. I don't really have time to like. I don't want to be breaking down all these collections and selling them off individually just to keep like a few things I want. So like I'm really trying to target a lot more of things I really just want that I can either use for streams that I want to invest in. Like I don't want to be breaking down and trying to sell off collections every day and moving all this stuff around. Just because like there's only so many hours in a day. I really like to like pick and choose what I want to use my hours on. So I'm more selective with what I'm buying these days, I would say.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. All right. Ready for questions?
Sure. We got a super.
All right. We got 2. We got the chef. Thank you so much for the $2. Prizzy bundle case, 1 left at 2K on TCG volume. Prismatic bundle case.
Good.
1 left. I mean,
that's good.
I guess what they're saying is that once it sells, then it's going to go up to 23 or 2,400 because after that, that's the next lowest listed.
Water bundles about $80. So if we say $80 times 25, that's $2,000. So I mean, gosh, that means it's selling at no premium right now. It should I feel like it should be up in the low 2000s. It should have some kind of premium on the case. That makes sense.
Not to be confused with the chief Pokemon. I just got 25. First and foremost, thanks for the $10. I just got 25 prismatic ETBs for 155 each to resell on my website and stream for TCG Market. There are 100 more available. Do you think that's a good price for resale? Would you buy more? I mean, if you can keep getting it at that price, I mean, that feels rhetorical. Of course, you just keep buying more. Hey, should I buy this product and sell it for a profit? I don't know.
Yeah, these questions are weird.
Yes, always if you can make a profit.
Yeah.
It's one of those questions where you're like, it feels like you're just flexing at that point.
That's what I feel like. Like, it's just, I mean, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
155 on an item is clearly selling for much more. Yeah.
All right, let's go to regular questions now. Will we actually ever be able to buy a price dip on prismatic ETBs for more than one day? We don't know. I mean, we obviously are not seeing reprints, and the supply that's coming into big box retailers is obviously not enough. So unless we see some major reprint come, doubtful.
See, I don't know why people are so like confused. Like, I actually listen to people. Like, I read things and I actually like regret. It makes sense to me. How many people over the last year have said they're waiting, they're holding on to cash, they're waiting for an opportunity? How many times has everyone heard that? A lot at this point. Why does it surprise you that when a 20+% correction comes on one of the hottest products out there, that it gets bought up extremely fast? Why are we surprised?
Yeah.
If you want to purchase one of these items and a correction comes, you need to take action. This is not Battle Styles chilling rain days. Those days are gone. I understand we want to live in the past. I want to live in the past too, but that market's over. Everyone knows now. If you have a chance and a crazy opportunity like this of a 20+% correction on prismatic evolutions, and you want more position in it, you take it. You take that chance.
Yeah, 100%. Next question up is when to trade in most of my SIR and IRs of 151 to my LCS yesterday, but they said no due to having an overflow. Having 10 plus years in e-commerce, is now the time to open my own site to sell.
I know Brian Pokieni, he's probably like the biggest champion of that idea. Like, he really believes in having your own site and owning, kind of your customers and the information, like the marketing that you can do to, on that, instead of having a, site like eBay or TCG Player technically having the customers and you having to go through them every time you want to make a sale. So it takes a bit more marketing and like kind of building in the beginning, but once you build that, I think it's a better model overall. It's just a lot of people can't get through that step of building that customer base and consistently marketing the products to get them sold. So, it's a good, if you can put in the work and you think you can do it, it's a great idea. Otherwise, man, I mean, consignment services are around these days too, which are usually pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this, obviously the market is really tough right now for being able to get supply as low as you would typically like it. But considering that prices feel like they just keep continuing to go up, I mean, there's no guarantee that's going to happen forever. So please, it's not financial advice. It definitely feels a little bit safer to be buying at higher percentages than you usually would. And, more to kind of what Alex was saying, I don't see any sort of, I guess, downside of you starting it. I mean, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, so what? You can just go back to selling on third-party sites or local game stores. Like, if it works out, then fantastic. You're building a brand for yourself that's going to allow you to make more money.
Here's the thing, like, what are you losing? Like, you have to sign up for a site, whatever the site and the hosting costs you for a year. Like, you have a little bit of investment, but at the end of the day, it's like, if your fees are so much lower because all you're paying is PayPal or credit card fees compared to the 13%. So you're saving that much fees. Even if you sell a decent amount of items, you're already going to pay for that website hosting. So you're not even going to be out any money. I think it's definitely worth trying.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for the $5, Helsing. More than a question, this is just a token of appreciation, just one take. people in this hobby are way more reactive than proactive. Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's no denying that. That is
well said.
Glaringly obvious, sadly.
Well said. Hey, take the question above it. I think that's a good question.
The question above it?
Yeah.
Okay. At what price will prismatic ETB be too high, considering Ascended Heroes ETBs are still hovering at 100, 125?
What do you think about that?
I don't think there's such thing as too high, sadly. I mean, 151 has kind of proven that.
Let me look those up real quick. I just want to see what they're at. That sounds low.
What seems low?
The Ascended.
Ascended's at like 125, 130 right now on TCG Player.
So lowest.
He's probably saying 100 if I don't know where he's getting it from, but he's probably getting it somewhere.
What I'll say is if you can get those for $100, I think that's a good buy. If we're talking market price of 130 and I can pick up Prismatic for 160, whatever, 170, or I guess it is about to back up to 180. Okay, so I talked about this back during Black Bolt, White Flare, and when Prismatic was around the same price. And I said, Black Bolt, White Flare are definitely going to be good sets to buy. But when Prismatic ETBs, they were like 110 and Black and White were like 90, 95. It didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense at that price. You just buy Prismatic, right? Prismatic is now 180. So Black Bolt, White Flare make a lot more sense because they're still around 90 to 100, right? Ascended Heroes. It's a judgment call. Like Prismatic's still not too much more than that, and it's going to be out of print a lot sooner. I think I'd still take Prismatic at the current prices. If Ascended Hero stays between 100 to 120 or 125 or whatever, and Prismatic goes back to over 200, 220, then you could make a much better case for buying Ascended. I think right now at both current price points, 130 or 180 market, I think I'd rather have Prismatic.
At the current price points?
Well, yeah, I mean, 130 is what is TCG player price on Ascended. And then I think 180 is TCG player price on Prismatic. I think I'd take Prismatic. You can get 2 Prismatic for the price of 3 Ascended.
You said it's 180 where?
On TCG. Prismatic is.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did it dip in price? I must have missed it.
Yeah, dude, it had those big massive drops. That's what we were talking about.
Oh, I did not even know that.
Yeah.
Like
it was down in the low 170s. And that's why I said, like, this is the time you buy, but everyone's thinking like it's going to go to 0 or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, did I miss something? It was just at 220 the other day. So yeah, it did drop $40.
That's why I think it's a good pickup.
I will say this, it's probably a safer pickup. It is a safer pickup. Man, what? I'm just a sucker for Ascended.
Put it this way, let's just say this: neither one's a bad play. You ask us to like give you an answer.
I just like Ascended because it's at a lower price point.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm willing to take the risk on Ascended. Prismatic is probably the safer play, but I just want to take the risk on Ascended because I just like it more as a set.
This is me answering so that way YouTubers have content. Because I like to help out my fellow YouTubers. Whenever you give a take like this, that way, like in a year, 2 years from now, if you're wrong, they can take a clip of you saying that and be like, see, he was wrong. He doesn't know a crap what he's talking about. It's just like both the products will both be up like 100 or 120%. Like, see, he could have had an extra 20% if he would have done Ascended. It's like, okay, you got me. But no, I don't think there's a bad. I think this is just like for bragging rights to who was right. I think you're going to do great on either set.
I'm looking at acquiring more Evo Skies booster boxes. I only have 2 right now, but I also want more Ascended Heroes ETBs. Currently have 1 case. What would you do in my situation?
Ascended.
I am looking at acquiring more Evolving Skies, but I also want more Ascended. Yeah, I mean, Ascend is the one that's moving right now. So it feels like the one that probably makes the more sense to buy currently because Evolving has been going sideways forever. But also, like, how long before Evolving makes its next leg up? So I would say that, like, if we're talking short term, yeah, Ascended. But I'm talking, like, in the next 6 months, you'll probably want to shift that over to Evolving because Evolving's more than likely going to make a move in the next 6 months, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I just auctioned off an Evolving Skies box with Probstein, and because like whenever I get like collections in, this is one of the collection buys I bought. If they have like, I'm really weird. I'm like, I like everything to be pristine, right? So like if a box has like a crease going across it or something, like I just dump it. I just sell it and try to find another one. So it's not like I'm selling off any Evolving Skies. I just picked one up. It was creased, and so I sent it, dude. It went for like over 2,800 at auction.
Wow.
So quite a bit more than TCG player market right now. So that tells me if the auctions are starting to move up, that's a good sign.
Man, it always feels like the auctions are just so inflated. It's crazy.
And that, hey, they paid, buyer pay, money's in my account. So I know everyone always likes to harp on Probstein and say everything's shilled and not real. It's like, I don't really care how shilled or not real it is. Whoever bought it paid and the money's in my account. So
100%. No, that's all you can ask for. Here in the UK, prismatic ETBs are 180 pounds and the bundles are 70 pounds. I have funds available to invest heavily. Which would you pick up? I mean, what's the market? Let me see. So what's the rate right now for the bundles
80.
in the US?
80.
80. Yeah. I mean, so they're basically the same price then over there as they are over here then when you include conversion rate. Actually, no, that's not true. ETBs are more over there. I thought it said 170. No, it said 180. Probably the bundles then, right? I mean, the bundles are cheaper deal if we're just talking about like the price per dollar comparison between the two, but I don't know. It's hard because even with that, do you think the ETB is going to perform better than the bundle?
I'm reading that sweet dude's going nuts.
I mean, yeah, it's
telling people to change their name to Up Only Forever. Hey, Sweet, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you finance real quick, okay? Unless fiat currency stops getting devalued and inflation stops happening, things will always go up forever. The price of assets will always go up forever. As long as the dollar is continuing to get devalued, it'll always go up. That's why since the history of the S&P, it's always going up. So unless you find a way to stop making the dollars lose value, then that's the only way you're going to stop it.
What do you think?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. Here, let's do this. How'd the 151 ETBs and bundles do after they were already at those prices? Let me go see that. Because the 151 ETBs, I think, did extremely better than the bundles, but they also weren't printed as much as prismatic. So never mind. I guess that won't tell as much. So
I mean, if we look at the
151 bundles a year ago, they were $65. So they were like $65, $63, $64.
They've roughly tripled in price.
The ETBs a year ago were $200, and they're just over triple.
So they've roughly tripled in price. It's almost identical.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I'm going bundle then. Bundle makes more sense. You're getting it for a cheaper like value over in the UK compared to the US. There's just a bigger price disparity.
Oh, did you ban him?
Yeah, dude, he started swearing at you.
Aw, I kind of liked him.
There's no point if the guy's literally just talking crap and he's using foul language.
Yeah,
I'm just not gonna keep him here. Not in my stream. All right. Prismatic SBC still buy 325. Rumored Sam's Club drop incoming. If not, Prismatic SBC. What other sealed items do you think could be buys here, not for financial buy? I mean, same answer. I'm gonna give the same answer for everything. If he's talking prismatic, it's bundles. If it's not prismatic, I'm talking ascended ETBs. I officially installed the collector app and unloaded all my collection. When it's time to sell, and uploaded all my collection, not unloaded. When it's time to sell, do I just show the buyer the collector value? I mean, a lot of times the buyers are gonna want to have a pricing done with other markets like eBay and TCG. Like collector is nice for you to kind of look at it, but like most of the time people are gonna, because the problem is with a lot of those apps is like the data itself is always going to be looking at market price, and a lot of times market price is not going to be up to date with lowest listed if something moves, and so they're going to typically want to look at like what's showing. I don't know why like TC Player also hasn't come up with their own um collector app. That's actually kind of surprising to me they haven't done that. I feel like that'd be so easy for them to do, and literally all they have is like a collector app version with lowest listed, no photos. That would just fix the whole thing. Lowest listed, no photos, gold star sell up, boom.
Yeah, Toronto, I would say it gives you a good roundabout idea, but no, people are going to price it themselves. They're not going to just take the word of Collector App. Collector App does a really good job. I love Collector App. You know, they're supporter of the channel. They have a great product, but if you're not going to be able to just copy, like you send them your Collector App and they're going to say, okay, 85% of this or 80% of this. It really doesn't work like that. So, but it gives you a good baseline of around where you're at.
Non Under Armour hat fella, PRE or AH? Is PRE prismatic, or what's
Yeah.
PRE again? It's prismatic evolution.
Ascended. You're gonna say ascended.
Yeah, I'm gonna say ascended. Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of Mason's comment about like so many rumored drops, and then that other comment before his about the prismatic supposedly dropping. I'm just gonna tell you guys this. I'm not saying about the prismatic drop, but I'm friends with some of the people who bought. I'm also friends with someone who owns a very large Discord notification bot, cook server, whatever you want to call it. And he will purposely put out nonsense, like things that are hysterically false, just to get rage bait engagement and just to get signups for his program.
Wow.
And so he'll literally make up drops and make up little shorts videos and talk about it's coming this date, this price, or make up some random bundle like with AI. And he'll put those out as advertisements to not only get the rage bait, the clicks, the views, the comments, but also to get people to sign up for his service so they can be notified when that comes. Now, his service is real. Like you get good notifications for everything that drops, and you can get in line on faster on things at Pokemon Center, Target, Walmart, find stuff in stores, all that. You can get into the whole bot game, all that stuff. But at the same time, he purposely does that to get to drive all that. So just believe like very little of what you see about that stuff. Sometimes they might be real, sometimes they're not. But those notification servers do that on purpose to get people to sign up.
Crazy. In this bull market, do you think you'll be buying heavily on upcoming popular sets that are going out of print in 2029?
2029. That would be Perfect Order and on.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the anniversary set, yeah. Like anniversary sets, they've just proven to do well. Celebrations should have been the one set that didn't do well. No one liked it. It's doing really well. Generations killed it. I mean, yeah, I'll probably be buying first. I'll probably be buying any of the not celebrations, any of the anniversary stuff. I put a little of everything away. So like when I say this, like don't freak out. It's not a lot. I'll probably put away like 4 cases of Perfect Order, probably 4 cases of Ninja Spinner or of Chaos Rising, like just as like a kind of a baseline position, just in case type thing. But no, I'm not going hard on these sets right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going hard either. I mean, right now I'm just waiting for something that just glaringly feels like just an obvious play. But until that kind of happens, I mean, I'll be honest, guys, it could be a while before I buy again. Like, I want to buy. I really, really do want to buy, but I just, I feel more uncertain about the overall economy, which is what scares me the most. If there wasn't so much uncertainty with the overall economy, I'd probably be buying more. But it's like, there's just.
Can you just say it once? Can you just say I'm gonna wait?
Dude, I think I'm gonna wait.
Part of them. He's one of them.
It's the one of us. No.
Do you remember Dragon Ball Z where like they would go Majin and they would get the M on their heads?
No.
What if you just got the W?
Oh,
like
God.
like no, and you just like got the W just form on your head. Like you just became the I'm gonna wait crowd.
Oh, dude, I can't. I mean, it's just I don't know. Do you have any fears, not of the Pokemon market specifically, but of the overall, just the way in which the tensions on the global scale are kind of going?
No, I honestly, dude, I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
I mean, I typically don't either, but I don't know. It's hard not to pay attention to it when gas prices go up 70%. You know what I mean? Like,
but
we haven't seen gas prices this high since COVID, and we're not in a global pandemic.
It's the K-shaped economy, dude. That's why I'm not worried about it. The people who are doing well are going to continue to do better, and a lot of those people are the ones who have the disposable income for hobbies like this.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's going to affect Pokemon as much as people think. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me confident.
My Pokemon investments, hope you are right.
Yeah. I hope I'm right. Hey, I just made a video not too long ago where I said, 4 years ago when I started this YouTube channel, I, talked about my feelings on Pokemon investing, and I put my money where my mouth is, and I've been going pretty much all in for the last 4 years. And, it just so happened I was right. Could have been wrong. And in the next 4 years, I could be wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But it's like, at some point, you got to do something. It's just like throwing money in the bank, unless you're making obscene amounts of money. You can't, it's very, very difficult to save yourself to wealth. Unless you just make crazy amounts of money, like you could do it. Honestly, Eli, the money, I mean, your business and stuff, you could legitimately get wealthy with never investing. You're just making enough income. Right. But for most people, you need to invest to build wealth and eventually retire. And so I just think the danger of doing nothing is less than the danger of doing nothing is more than the danger of taking, positions out there and taking risk.
I mean, I've made significantly more money off of my investments than I have my overall income, and it's not even close.
Yeah. But what I'm saying at this point now, like if you just like saved, 50% of your income for the next 10 years, you'd have enough money, like without ever making like money, just money market it. Right. Whereas like other people, like you couldn't really do that. You need to make that like average of 10 to 12% a year, at least in the S&P over a long period of time, or you need to, try something like this or more risky investments to like grow your wealth, because your income is just not going to be able to support your life, your bills, and your retirement one day, So it's like, I think it's still more risky to not take action than it is to take action doing something. So like, that's why I just keep doing it.
I think I understand this question, but it's a little confusing. Can you share how many prismatic ETBs you got and if there's 2 waves for them? There was 2 waves.
You got a lot.
Man, I gotta go back, bro. Oh man, this is gonna be a hard one to find. Alfred, are you listening, Alfred? Please, Alfred. Dude, this is gonna be a hard one to know. I want to say as a program, I think we got right around 2,000 for the first wave. Well, actually, no, it was 1 wave, and then there was a reprint that happened shortly after. So I think we got, please don't quote me on it, I think we got around 2,000, maybe like 2,500. I'm not 100% certain. And then the reprint, it was like small in comparison. It was like 500 ETBs.
Addicted to packs. Quick answer. You pay your consignment fee with consignment services based on each individual item. Yes.
But I will say this, if we're just comparing, we got significantly more prismatic than we did Ascended. It's not even close. Ascended, we got crushed. We got like 1,700 Ascended, 1,800 Ascended.
Someone said he's referring to Anon's alleged reprint coming out next month.
Oh, so are we?
By the way, Anon.
Are we? Hold on. Before you say, are we extending Q1 to April now. Is that
let's just throw it until whenever a reprint comes at some point in the future, he's gonna say he was right. It's the stupidest crap in the world.
Yeah, that checks out.
Like don't, how about this? Just don't give time frames. Just say eventually a reprint's coming, and then we'll all agree. I agree. Eventually a reprint's coming.
I don't know if you know this, the Cosmic Eclipse reprint's coming.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, like a reprint, there are going to be reprints. No one's saying there isn't. It's just like whenever you put these like very precise timelines because you have all the know and then you get it wrong, the least you could do is just say, I got it wrong. Like no one's saying reprints are never going to come. It's just like everyone was saying there's no information showing they're coming in Q1 and they haven't come. Q1 ends tomorrow. They did not come. Therefore, you were wrong. Like you can't move the goalpost and say, well, they're going to come next month. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they'll come at some point, but it's like the fact that you said you have information that tells you they're coming in Q1 and they didn't, you were just wrong. Admit you're wrong, move on. No one cares. We're all wrong. We're all wrong at different times.
First and foremost, the Cosmic one, that was a jab at PTC. It was an inside joke.
Oh, I know. Like I was being serious. Like, yeah, there are restocks and reprints coming for sure.
Alfred responded to me. He said that he's probably referring to some of the resupply that's been coming up for some distros for prismatic ETBs. I didn't know some of our distros are doing a resupply for it, but they're charging about 1,000 per case.
Yeah, that's what I got.
So I don't think it's a reprint in the same way. Because otherwise, if it was a reprint, I would have gotten a notification about it in my email saying like, put in your pre-orders or here's how much you've been pre-allocated. So that's probably why it's flying under my radar, because it's probably something they just put on our account and then they're like, hey, you want it? You get 3 cases. And then you're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah, I got 100 in ETB as well.
Yeah, how many did you get?
I don't want to talk about it.
Over or under a case?
Over.
Oh, really? Wow, dude. Why don't you want to talk about it?
Just, you know.
All right. My bad, bro. We won't talk about it. I
like to keep things a little quiet these days.
All right, let's talk.
We got some stuff cooking these days.
All right. We'll take a couple more questions and we'll get out of here. At what price are PEVO bundles ETBs not a buy? Shout out to Steve for the $2.
Well, I mean, 151 bundles were 120 and people saying they were too high, and now they're almost 200. So obviously they were a buy then.
They're never a bad buy. That's the thing, is like, it's never really a bad buy because you're going to be able to buy them for a lower price right now than they probably will be in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's like, what time frame is always the question. Like, yeah, you can say maybe in the next 6 months to a year, you know, it might be cheaper than buying now, but we don't know that. Like, just think about it from a long-term perspective. If you're truly just trying to pick up PEV bundles or PEVO bundles. All right, where is?
Yeah, guys, look, operate under the assumption that while sets are in print, you are likely going to see products with those packs come out until they go out of rotation. And they're always going to be coming. They're always going to be restocked in vending machines, coming through distro, coming through big box stores, randomly, sporadically. People are waiting for this big thing to happen. Like, this reprint is going to happen on this date and things are going to crash. Guys, there's just infinite product always being flushed through, flowing through the system, always coming out. And the market's just operating with that happening. I just think people need to have a better relationship with these restocks and reprints. It's not Armageddon. It's small price drops here and there. It's more supply here and there. It's here for a minute, then it's gone. And we're right back to the normal uptick.
People are saying prismatic ETB. I mean, we're already answering this, but I'm still going to take the question. I don't know the time frame. Did your rep tell you anything?
Mine are being shipped in the next few days.
Okay.
So I would say they'll probably start to reach people in a week or so.
There you go. How far will Ascended booster bundles fall in release?
I don't know.
Is this does he mean perfect order? Because Ascended. Oh wait, it hasn't come out yet. I forgot it's a waived item. Oh, I forgot
Where are
about
they
that.
at? Where are they pre-selling at?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Oh my gosh, they're pre-selling for 100. I would say they'll probably come down to. Let me do some math. I'm gonna say 80.
That feels right.
I'm gonna say $80.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think you'll probably have like some, rogue sellers, eBay sellers sell them for like, in the 70s. But like I think the majority of the big stores will hold up at 80.
Another super chat. Shout out to Sir Jeppy for the $5. How about when the petrol dollar collapsed? I'm so bullish on Pokemon over 130K, but stagflation, job market, and 40 trillion in debt is slightly worrisome.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. I don't know how old you are, Sir Jeppy. I mean, I'm 35, dude. I mean, I've lived through all of it at this point, dude. I lived through the whole Y2K nonsense. I lived through '08. We've lived through, pandemic. Like, we've lived through multiple wars in our lifetime now. It's just like, dude, there's always something. There's always something on the horizon. There was, when we were growing up, it was like the hole in the ozone layer. And then it was like global warming. And then it's climate change. And then it's, it's always something. There's always going to be something to fear, right? The most likely course of action is things are going to find a way to continue to go. And then you could say things like, well, the economy should have collapsed in '08, but it didn't, right? The government's going to step in and backstop it. And even if things are supposed to collapse another time, it's not going to. They're going to backstop it. The world will backstop it. Like, they're always going to find a way to keep the system going because every other wealthy person, all their money depends on the system as well, right? And so, like, in my opinion, I don't think I think things are going to just continue to be a little worse, a little harder every year, right? A little more taxes, all that, but they're going to likely continue more of the same for the rest of our lives.
Let's take one more question and then let's get out of here.
Acting like I'm 50, dude. Hole in the ozone. They were talking about that stuff when they were showing us Bill Nye in freaking grade school. Trust me, I remember.
All right, this will be the last question. Speaking of G&G Emporium, what do you guys think about all these crazy mid-era reverse rare PSA 10 prices? Pretty insane, just overlooked for too long.
No, I think it's all just people. They know, the smart people in this hobby know how to take advantage of things when things are hyped, and that's exactly what they're doing. And because the supply is so low, a lot of the people who own a lot of these things know each other, and they know exactly how to operate in these markets. I mean, going back to the whole cabal days, these are the times when those people shine. That is my opinion.
Oh, that reminds me, by the way, there was a trade show that happened in the Phoenix area, and I was talking to one of my employees who was running our booth, and I was asking him like how to go, give me like details about what you're seeing, and he said that the best selling cards were mid-era PSA 7 and 8, which I was like, what? That's crazy.
Well, think about it, dude. What was happening during the end of the last boom? All of the vintage, common, uncommon cards were going through the roof. All of the, mid-era stuff started to rise. The level X's started. One of the
well, it's just the 7s and 8s is what throws me off. It's crazy to think that 7s and 8s are what's popping off, right?
I think a lot of the slabs, both vintage and modern, are going to be some of the worst corrections we see during this downturn. And then people that don't understand like long-term investing in sealed product, they're going to use a lot of those downturns to try to like talk poorly about the market and how bad things are crashing, when in reality, a lot of the sealed product is likely not going to go through that. And the reason I know that is because if you go back and look at all the data from 2001, 2002, 2021, 2022, none of the sealed product in modern had any real correction, like 10%, 15%. Evolutions was the worst at 30, when a lot of the cards that saw those massive run-ups, those all came down 50, 60, 70, 80%.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, man.
Because at the end of the day, when everything comes back down to earth, right? The the cards all have as many or more copies in existence. The sealed product isn't there anymore. It's gone. It's been deleted. It's been opened.
Yeah. It definitely feels like as time goes on, 7s and 8s are going to feel more appealing.
I'm going to quote Catching All Collectibles. I am long cardboard. I am short plastic. I would be taking profits on plastic during this time.
Any other questions you want to take before we get on out of here?
I don't know, man. Anything crazy catch your eye?
No, I just was looking at the time.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'm good.
All right, cool. Well, then we'll just wrap it on there. As always, guys, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. Really helps out the channel. Make sure to get your looks maxing in. Alex is going to make sure he's taking care of that before stream ends, obviously, and continuing it once the camera's off. Oh my God. Can I get a a Mew from you, brother?
I don't even know what that is. I kept up with the maxing and the mogging. I don't know the Mew.
You're not even a true look maxer.
I'm not
bro.
even
That's devastating, bro. That's crazy. All right. But yeah, Alex's content, check the link down in the description below. And yeah, we will see you guys all next Monday. Peace.